Today's video is something that all traders and investors on this planet can really benefit from, and that's because we are going to give you a high level overview of all of the drawing tools that you have access to whenever you come to tradingview.com. Now, the goal of this video is not so much to dive into the details of how these specific forms of analysis and research work, but more so to make sure you understand where to go when you're looking for a tool and what that tool means from a high level. Okay, so the first thing every trader and investor should know is that the drawing tools on TradingView are located on the left-hand side of the chart. You can see here our mouse is hovering over all of these different drawing tools. Now, a second important tip here is that all of these drawing tools have menus that can be expanded. So if you move your mouse over the drawing tool, you're going to see a little arrow appear. If you hover your mouse over that arrow, you're going to see a title for the type of tools you're about to access. Your trendline tools are at the top. We click the arrow, and just like that, the trendline tools are shown to us. Now, it's also important to note that these tools are organized in a very helpful way. So at the top here, you can see it says lines. Down further, it says channels. And if we scroll down, we see pitchforks. So what we have are these neatly organized drawing tools by specific topics. Now, these are lines or trendline tools because when you open this menu, at the core of all of these tools is the process of drawing a line. Now, a trend line is a very popular tool in technical analysis because it's a way you can look for trends. The same might be said for horizontal lines because you can draw straight lines across the chart if you're looking for areas of support. Now we're going to show you an example of using the trendline tools. In this case, let's use the trendline tool, which we now have selected, and we know the tool is selected because it's highlighted in blue. And what we can do here is click at any point on the chart, and now we have got our trendline tool active. It's important to know that these tools also maneuver and work in different ways based on your clicking capabilities. Here's what we mean by that. The trendline tool is a tool whereby you click once, and now you've got this line that is following your mouse until you click again. So if we draw a horizontal line like this and click again, we've now just set the trend line as such. Now keep in mind that trend line tools are for drawing trends. So for example, if we wanted to draw a trend, a downward trend of sorts, well, that is how we would draw a downward trend. We would reposition the line to be on a specific trend or slope according to our analysis of the chart in front of us. Now, once you have your line in front of you, and this is very important not only for trendline tools, but as we work our way down this list, it's important for you to note that all of these tools can be double clicked to access the settings menu. Once you've accessed the settings menu, you generally can perform a unlimited amount of customizations. But it's also important to remind yourself that different tools have different customizations. Now, this is the trendline tool. So naturally, we have some different ways to customize this trend line. Look at all of these boxes that we can check and interact with to add different features to this trend line. Some of these are going to be really phenomenal and helpful to you. You can extend the line across your chart. So in fact, let's just watch it happen right here in real time. This says extend right line. So remember we ended our trend line here, but if we extend it, it now goes across our chart forever. We can also spot the exact middle point by clicking middle point. There it is, neatly shown to us to see that middle point. We've even got price labels. Now we can see the price labels of the trend line and even specific stats. So you can even see the price, percent, and change in pips and more just by clicking these boxes. So this is quite important. As you get started with drawing tools, always remember that there's a lot more to them than just simply drawing the tool. It all starts with double clicking because now you've just opened up a customizable toolbox that you can access to create the best drawing tool for your needs. And many of you already know this, but you should know, just in case you're brand new to TradingView, that you can also customize the line, look and feel to your exact needs. And while we've made this line quite thick and blue, it's even deeper than that because we can make dashed lines or dotted lines. You can watch the line change in real time here. Let's keep it a straightforward line here. We can even add arrows to the end of it if we're trying to sort of remind ourselves of a specific trend. But the point here is that as you double click into your drawing tools, you're going to have these capabilities, including adding text. Now, text can be added to the majority of these drawing tools, but some of them don't allow for it. But it's a really nice way to keep notes. So you can say, this is a note. Let's go ahead and make sure we change the color of this text and check that out. It's right here now, connected beautifully to the trend line that we drew. And we've got some other capabilities to adjust the alignment. Top of the trend line, to the right of the trend line, to the left of the trend line. The choice is ours. Then, of course, there's coordinates. So some of these drawing tools will give you the capability to fully customize the coordinates. Now, this is a wonderful feature if you want to draw really precise drawings on your chart that are essentially connected to the exact points. So you can see here on this chart here, the price or bar where this drawing begins is at $69.46. So this is $69.46. Maybe we want it to be exactly $69. You can see it's updated for us in real time. Now this says $20.82. Maybe we actually want this trend line to end at the low of where this bottom was. Maybe we're looking for some sort of support or area to watch. That appears to be about 1869. So let's do 18 and then let's type in 69. And there we go. Now it's readjusted to match up with that perfectly. So the point here is that as you dive into your drawing tools, the customizations go deeper and deeper. The more you become an expert at TradingView, the better and better you'll get at this. Let's also talk about visibility. Now, this is also a feature that comes with the majority of these drawing tools, and we want to make sure you understand what this is and how to use it. Now, for those of you who do multiple time frame analysis, this is really a game changer because this trend line is drawn on a daily chart. So you can see here it says 1 day. Here's our trend line, 1 day. But keep in mind that if we go to 30 minutes, well, look at the trend line up here. It's not as precise or as big picture as we wanted. A daily chart might be considered more of a macro view. We are now looking at 2 years of data here. So just easier to draw on these big long-term views. As we zoom in, we can see the trend line because we're zoomed in now, but it's not really where we want it, right? So what you can do with this feature of visibility is you can quite literally uncheck the different time frames or time intervals where you don't want to see these drawings anymore. Now we're in a 30-minute drawing. There's the 30-minute chart. Still the same company, same stock symbol. We just went from daily to 30 minutes. So if we uncheck minutes on this trend line tool, in the trend line tool settings, which you double click into, the line disappears. But let's now go back to daily. The line is back in front of us. Let's go back to minutes. The line is no longer there. So as you get started with these drawing tools, these are the type of customizations you can access. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have taken you through the basics of using the trendline tools and how to expand the menu. Let's keep working our way down this list. You also have Gann and Fibonacci tools. Now, what you're going to find as you move through this list is that depending on the type of trader you are or the type of research you like to do, there is a drawing tool for everyone. Now, I must admit, in my personal experience, I really love the forecasting and measurement tools here, which I can click and expand. I love this section because it gives me specific stats and facts about areas that I'm measuring. This isn't so much technical analysis as it is just measuring the chart, the different movements, what the price says. But of course, that's just my opinion. This video is educational for all traders and investors, so you can think about it in a similar way. You may be a Fibonacci trader, whereby you love Fibonacci's. In that case, you are going to love the aspect of specifically working with the Fibonacci tools. It all comes with knowing how these different drawing tools and their menus expand. Then you can click specific drawing tools and dive in a little deeper. So, for example, let's go ahead and click Fibonacci retracement. Let's just click a starting point for this retracement. Let's go all the way down to the current price. And ladies and gentlemen, we just drew a retracement just like that. Once again, we can double click, Click Style. We can customize this Fibonacci tool to our needs, adding more Fibonacci points to the chart to get all of these new levels shown to us instantly. And really, where it gets even better is if we'd like, we can customize the colors of all of these drawing tools. And you, as you get started, can learn all of this yourself. It's just all about really diving in and learning the platform and following some of the basic things we're showing you here. Now, another important thing is that as you get started with the drawing tools, is that you can click them at any point, and you're going to notice that there's a floating toolbar here. Now, this floating toolbar is designed to make your access to these drawing tools faster, meaning at any point you can click this drawing tool and, for example, you can lock it. So it's just going to be locked in place. Another thing, so for example, we're trying to move it, we can't even move it. If we unlock it, now we can move it. The point of this floating toolbar, though, is that you get these capabilities just a click away, floating here right in front of you. You can also change some of the key aspects of it very quickly as well. You may not like the floating toolbar, and well, what you can do is essentially you can hide this floating toolbar just like that. Click those three little dots there, expand the menu, and click hide. So as you go deeper and deeper, you're going to learn about these tools. And keep in mind, there's also some GAN tools. Now, this is a different form of technical analysis, which we will make future videos on to dive in deeper. It's specific to following key levels based on these sequences. But the point is, once again, we've got analysis for everyone on the TradingView platform. So as we work our way down, the next thing you'll notice is that we also have the patterns drawing tools as well. So once again, we can click this arrow, the menu expands, and look at all of the drawing patterns that we have access to. Now, some of you may be familiar with the head and shoulders pattern, the ABCD pattern. You may even be an Elliott wave trader who is looking to count specific waves and impulses. Well, here's what's really important about this pattern section. They are all just a click away. So if you're looking to draw an Elliott impulse wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perhaps you're looking for this specific sequence of events on the chart following the Elliott wave system, you can do it just as we did right there. Depending on your analysis, naturally, it's going to look a lot different than what I'm doing. But the key part here is that in this pattern section, you can find specific tools to draw patterns. You may be familiar with the head and shoulders pattern. Well, I don't really see a head and shoulders on this chart. Let's see. Still don't see one. But as an example, if you wanted to draw a head and shoulders pattern, you click. You can see now we're drawing the left shoulder. So we would probably want to find the left shoulder here, kind of mark it out. Then we want the head. And then we're going to draw really, we're going to complete that. Right shoulder, and look at that. We've just drawn what is somewhat famous head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now, naturally, it'd be better if we drew this on a chart, but we just want to make sure we get the examples across to you so that you know how to access and use all of these drawing tools to your advantage. One very helpful, cool point here is that just because these pattern tools do list out specific aspects of technical analysis, keep in mind that you can use them for other purposes as well. For example, you may be using the Elliott triangle wave ABCDE tool, but you might not be using it so much to draw Elliott wave as perhaps actually you've developed your own form of technical analysis for mapping out specific movements on the chart. You can do that. This is totally up to you, and this is the beautiful thing about our drawing tools. It is free and open to all of you traders and investors out there to utilize for your research purposes and drawing on the chart to better understand and follow markets. Now, as we move down the list here, it's time to show you all the forecast and measurement tools. Once again, we can click the arrow here to expand the menu. Now, it's important to keep in mind that as you follow these tools and their names, you'll start to understand what they really do. Patterns is drawing patterns like head and shoulders. Forecasting and measurements is just what it sounds like. We now are looking at specific forecasting and measurement capabilities. Here's a great example. This price range tool is very powerful. The reason why it's powerful is that if you click this price range tool, you can now in an instant measure any percentage change or price change on the chart. So here's the highest point of GameStop. It spiked earlier in the year. So we click to Get the tool down. Now it's going to follow our mouse to wherever we click to next. Let's click to the current price. And this price range tool has now just shown us these key price change details. It's down $44 since this high, or 68%, and we even get the key details as well in a raw value format. The point here, though, is that when you access the forecasting and measurement tools, this is where you can start to measure the chart as we just demonstrated. And these measurements go quite deep as well, so you should be prepared to understand that you've got the capabilities to measure much more than just price action. The long and short position tools are famous for the way they can map out trades that you're thinking about. Let us show you a great way to utilize this. Let's say, for example, you think that there has been a bottoming part on this chart. Well, rather than just rushing in and placing a trade, you can click long position. Now that you have the tool selected, because it's highlighted in blue, we can find a starting point on this support line and click. This arguably is mapping out the entry and exit price. What we can do now is set our stop loss. Let's say our stop loss is here. That's the red area. Here's our take profit target. Let's say we're looking for GameStop to return back to the 40s. Now we can see the trade in front of us, our open profit and loss, the quantity, the risk reward, how much we would lose if it hits our stop, how much we would gain if it hits our take profit. We can double click into this as mentioned and demonstrated earlier in the video. Let's go ahead and click inputs and fully customize this trade on this tool to our exact needs, including the specific what is our account size? How much are we trading? What's our risk and entry price? You can create a highly detailed trade. Now, by the way, the beautiful thing about this is that if we go back to our patterns tools, let's say we're using the Elliott impulse wave for something else, what we can do is say, well, here's our entry. We sort of think it's going to have a nice bounce, but like everything, might retrace a little, move in this sort of impulse manner. And let's even take this up to the high because that's our trade after all. The point being is that what we're doing now is we're mapping out our trade. So you don't have to just rush into a trade without doing your research. You've got the tools here. We use the Elliott wave tool to map out the impulses, or maybe just the estimated pattern at which we think it'll move at. We've got the trend line tool here to map out potential support. And we've got the actual calculated details of the trade, including the stop loss and the take profit target, and our risk reward ratio mapped out right here in front of us as well. This is the key steps to understanding our drawing tools, is that you don't have to just focus on one tool or another like Trendline. You can combine all of these tools together as you get started, as you just saw. Now, it does get better because there are also volume-based tools in this specific area. So let's say you also want to make sure you're placing your trade with volume in mind. You want to make sure there's significant volume. Well, why don't we go ahead and use our fixed range, or let's use our anchored volume profile. Let's find our starting point. This is our support line after all. So let's click here. It's going to instantly calculate. It's now taking in all the data from the point at which we clicked up until present time and showing us where the majority of the volume is. So how beautiful is this? We have got our chart in front of us of GameStop. We've got our support line here. We've got our profit taking target, our stop loss mapped out here in risk reward. We've got our estimated price movement and possible impulses here. And we have this wonderful volume analysis off to the right, showing us what price levels have attracted the most volume. So now maybe we need to adjust this a little bit, because look at the volume. Perhaps it's going to come back and test this volume level, or perhaps it's not going to break above it as much as we would like. And actually, just by doing this analysis, maybe now we realize this heavy volume area at about $22 per share might be quite a bit of resistance. So now we have to readjust our target. The whole point here is that these are how the drawing tools can be analyzed to better research and follow markets. And by the way, everything we just did, it now gets even better, because the next drawing tools section we want to show you is our geometric shapes. This is where you can draw free strokes on your chart, arrows, rectangles, classic shapes that you're familiar with, that you've learned in school. For example, the brush tool, a popular tool because it's just what it sounds like. It's a brush. So we've got the brush tool selected. Let us actually delete that. Let us instead stay focused on this. We can circle this area. So if we want to share this chart with friends, print it out, save it to our computer, share it on social, we can just map this out rather quickly with our brush to show you that circle there. But if we want to add specific shapes or arrows to point out a level, well, check how about that? Let's add the arrow there. If we want to highlight the support zone more with a rectangle, maybe the original trend line's not doing the job we thought it would. This support zone perhaps looks a little more robust and powerful in this specific use case. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's even color this in even more. Let's even add some text that says support zone. Well, what we've just done is we've created now an even more clear chart, and now we're utilizing the geometric shapes, which, similar to all of the other drawing tools that you know, are organized neatly here. Brushes, arrows, and shapes, just what it sounds like. Go ahead and click into any of these, get started, double click on them to fully customize them. As we wrap up this video, we want to show you the last two parts of the drawing tools here. And we also want to remind you about some key features that are down here at the bottom left of the chart. But keep in mind, we've covered these features before in our YouTube channel and also in our help center. We've got greatly detailed articles and videos about magnet mode, staying in drawing mode, and of course, syncing drawings. But please go watch those videos. Let us finish showing you our drawing tools like our annotation tools. Anyone who knows about annotations immediately knows that has to do with writing text or other features like adding an image or an idea. So if you want to quickly add text in some format or access these other very interesting annotation capabilities, a personal favorite of mine is actually this price note. Recall, I've now focused on this area here where this volume is. Well, check that out. I now simply can't miss that price because the price note works in a great way whereby once you have the price note tool selected, all you have to do is click that area and you've got that now in a neat little price note and you just can't miss it. You can drag it to any point so you always know that price level. And naturally, if you change it, check it out. The price note's going to change right there with it. So you have these annotation tools to add specific text to the chart. So by now, as we are now 22 minutes into this video, you're well aware of these drawing tools and the way they work as you move down and learn more about them. We're going to wrap up now with the final drawing tool that is available to you. This is the icons drawing tool. Now listen, some of the more serious traders out there may not need icons. They would rather just focus on drawing and things of that nature. But for an emerging group of traders who are on different social networks, who are sharing interesting content, creating fun, colorful, and engaging charts, this is where you can add emojis. And by the way, it does go a little bit deeper than emojis because you can access the full library here of all of these emojis that you might be familiar with. All it takes is clicking the icons here, finding the emoji that you're interested in. Let's say we want to add this cool guy here with glasses. Clicking again, and he's on our chart. Similar to the other drawing tools, we can do things like move the positioning around. We can even, if we wish, make him larger or smaller, and double click to access some more settings. Emojis aren't limited to just the visibility settings, as we explained earlier, but this is sort of the final touch to our drawing tools available to you on the left-hand side. And the key thing here, ladies and gentlemen, that you should really walk away with is that all of these drawing tools unlock different ways for you to perform your best research and analysis, and there are unlimited ways for you to perform research once you find the drawing tool for your needs. But what makes it even better is that just because you see a specific drawing tool, let's say the Fib channel, and it's called Fib channel, so you might think it's only for Fibonacci, but you can utilize this for other aspects of your analysis. Double click, maybe you only want to show, 2 lines on this chart. Well, what you've now done is you've almost created your own, we're going to show you this, your own custom channel tool. We do have a channel tool, but this just is another way for you to use these Fibonacci tools here to make a drawing tool of your needs. This is what we mean when we say that there are almost unlimited customizations and possibilities. The deeper you go into the drawing tool menu, the more you'll learn, the more you'll see is available to you, the better research you'll do, and the more you'll understand about markets and the charts that you're looking at. So we hope that this video helps you get started. It's an introductory course to all of the drawing tools that you can access, how to utilize them, how to reach their settings menu, how to understand them, and really, for all the new trading viewers out there, the keys to getting started. So we hope that this video helped you get started, and thanks so much for watching. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please do write us in the comments below if you have any questions or comments.